Coming live from the neighborhood, you are listening to Hapi Hood The Podcast, where we deliver meaningful content to inspire, uplift, and empower. Hey neighbor, it's your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray, lifestyle coach with a passion for helping others embrace self-worth and live a life of fulfillment. Welcome to the neighborhood. It's Hapi Hood The Podcast.
Finish
Message.
what you start.
Let's go. Welcome back to the neighborhood. Welcome to Hapi Hood The Podcast. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray, and I want to thank you for tapping in, for joining us for another edition, for a new episode of Monday Leadership. What's going on, family? Thank you. Thank you for joining us. You know, here on Monday Leadership, we believe in focusing on building today's habits for a successful tomorrow. Because we believe leadership is not a title, it's a choice that we make on a daily basis, every moment of our life, to lead with humility, to manage change, to overcome failure. We do this daily. So today, let's choose leadership. Let's choose to be the leader in the moment, in the situation, so we can have a successful tomorrow. You know, today I want to talk about something that I believe we all can relate to, whether we are entrepreneurs, parents, we're in the business owners. We all can relate to today's topic. And that is, it's one of those things in life that is pretty much inevitable. We will experience it. It's not a matter of if we will experience it. It's a matter of when we will experience it. And what I'm talking about is failure. Yes, the F word, failure. It's something that we're going to experience. You know, when I think about my experience with failure, and I think about my life, and, you know, as I take a quick moment to examine my life up to this point, family, I have experienced failure in so many different ways, in so many areas of my life, whether it was my marriage, whether it was as a parent, whether it was on the job, whether it was in my entrepreneur journey. I have experienced failure. However, when I think about some of those experiences, some of those failures have been also many of my greatest success stories. It has been some of my greatest learning lessons. It has been some of my learned lessons, greatest lessons in life, excuse me. And, you know, when I think about those experiences, one thing really helped me. If there was one thing that helped me to see those experiences as learning opportunities, as lessons in life, it was my ability to reframe failure. It was my ability to look at failure from a different lens. So we're going to talk about reframing failure. Failure isn't the end. Reframe it or stay stuck. Failure isn't the end. Reframe it or stay stuck. Hey, do me a favor, family. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what resonates with you in this episode. Also, feel free to share this. Share this with someone. Share it with a coworker, friend, another entrepreneur that you believe can benefit from it. Okay? It really helps. You already know. It really helps. So we're talking about failure. We're talking about reframing failure. So when you think about reframing failure, it is simply the ability to change, to pivot how we perceive failure, how we respond to setback, and how we see this experience, this incident, the situation as a learning opportunity. As a learning opportunity. That's simply how we reframe failure. We reframe it to allow us to say, you know what, this is a learning opportunity. And it's so funny when I think about those experiences of what I perceived to be failure. It was simply just a moment for me to gain a better understanding, for me to gain insight, for God to mold and shape me to build this character up, to build characteristics that truly has been a blessing, that truly has helped to that has given me what I needed in order to be who I am today. My failures have helped to shape and mold me to who I am today because they have been learning blocks. They've been learning blocks of life. And when I think about the failure, I'm almost thinking like, thank God that was a failure. Thank God that helped to humble me. Thank God that I was given I was in this experience of failure because I became a better husband. I became a better parent. I became a better worker. I became a better entrepreneur. So failure isn't the end. Reframe it or stay stuck. So why do we have a hard time with failure? Well, I believe, it's my theory. I believe in our society, in our culture, we measure failure is measured in like in one dimension. Is measured in the unit of either you pass or you fail. Either you got the job or you didn't. Either you uh, secured the bag or you didn't. You know, we see it as this black and white type of perspective. And I think as we, especially as adults, right, when we experience failure at a young age, it simply paralyzes us as we get older to, you know what, I'm not good at that. We start believing that. We start using language that that's not my vibe. We'll say stuff like that, or that's not my calling. you know, that's yeah, that's I can't do that. You know, I'm not that type of person. We'll say these things because of our inability to reframe failure, to reframe it. And there's tons and tons of research of why it's so difficult for us to reframe failure. One of them is simply our self-worth. Many times in life, we attach our self-worth, our identity to our outcomes, to our achievement. We're attached to our income. We're attached to our job status. We attach it to our uh, professional status. We attach it to all these different things. We attach it to our business. We attach it to our kids. We attach it to our marriage. We attach it to our material things. And when we realize that those things are something occur, we experience a financial loss, we experience a job loss, the business goes under, the the kids, you know, are not that successful or having some difficulties, some challenges. We say, "Oh my God, I'm failing as an entrepreneur. I'm failing as a worker. I'm failing as a parent. What I'm gonna do? I can't overcome it." And many times, and not many times, but it's because of our self-worth, of our self-worth. There's research, was research done from a journal around self-worth. And it says this: people who tie self-worth to external success experience higher anxiety and burnout. Experience higher anxiety and burnout. compared to people who tie self-worth to growth, learning, and purpose of having our purpose have higher resilience and adaptability. Has higher resilience and adaptability. When you think about the mindsets, you think about a growth mindset, a fixed mindset. Those who have a growth mindset see failures as a chance to learn and improve. Harvard Business Reviews found that leaders with a growth mindset are 34% more likely to take risks that lead to long-term success. That lead to long-term success. So again, when you think about like why we have difficulty, why we have an inability is because we have connected our self-worth to our outcome. We have difficulty shifting our mindset to a growth mindset, from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. We have difficulties in simply just processing failure. Many times we will just sweep it under the rug. We will sweep it under the rug. And in addition to sweeping under the rug, we never seen, we haven't seen good behavior of how to model. What is the behavior? What is something we need to model when it comes to overcome failure? That's why in the last episode, I talked about my failure that it was not even failure. The setback that I experienced when I went after I was studying for certified financial planner, and I took it twice. Yes, not once, but twice, and failed it. Failed it both times. And it took me a while because I was down on myself. I felt embarrassed. I felt kind of humiliated, going back to work, and others have passed, and seeing all the grand opportunities that was upon them. And it took me a while just to, what, this is a learning opportunity. I told my daughter, they was like, the day I went and took my exam, and I told them, hey, the second time I was a little bit better. Like, I didn't pass, and it was, my daughter was like, Joe was like, Dad, I'm so sorry. Like, baby, it's okay. I gave it my best, and that's all I asked for you. That's all I asked for you. And family, like, that setback was also one of my greatest success stories, because years later, my father was in the process of switching his term life to whole life. So we was working with our family insurance guy, and I was, kind of walking, kind of, based on what the insurance guy was telling, I was able to, put it in a more plain talk for my mom and dad, and really just kind of help them on the process, help them throughout the process, and kind of give them that hand holding that they needed in that process. And I remember being in the insurance agent office, and my mom leaned over to me and said, "Thank you." And family, let me tell you, that of itself, I believe it would been more rewarding. It was more rewarding than seeing a pass or fail. It was so, because it gave me that passing feeling, right? If I can be honest and transparent, that I didn't get when I actually took the designation, when I took the exam. But it gave me the sense of fulfillment that, yeah, that wasn't, I did I really fail? Because I'm applying the knowledge. I'm applying the knowledge. So did I really fail? And it was my first, I won't say my first, but it was a lesson. It was another lesson that I got in failure. And it was, how are you defining your success? How are you defining your success? How are you defining your success? Are you defining your success of what the world, what society sees success as? Or are you defining your success on what you believe, what God defines success as? Are you defining it based on your own terms, your own, how you want to be challenged? What are you looking to get out of it? Are you defining success based on your why, on your vision, on God's vision for your life? That was the very foundation that helped me to begin taking these even past failures and reframing them. Taking these failures and learning to reframe it. Learning to reframe. Now, since then, I have failed numerous times, as I said before. More failure have occurred. By no surprise, right? More failure has occurred. However, my ability to reframe it, my ability to say failure isn't the end. This is not the end. I'm going to reframe it. I'm not going to be stuck. So let's talk about, what are the habits? What are the habits? Again, we're building today's habits for successful tomorrow. What are the habits that we need to develop, that we need to really begin to exercise, that will help us when we, not if, but when we will experience failure? How can we do? What habits we need to do? Okay, the first habit is, we need to change our language. We need to change our language. When we're experiencing failure, we're experiencing setback, obstacles, we need to change our language. You know, when I think about this and I think about like some of my failure, some of the things I have said, I failed, by using that, like, hey, I failed at doing the CFP, compared to, I learned. I learned how to apply what I learned in the CFP to something in life, to this situation that my mom and dad was doing. Did I achieve in passing the designation and earning the designation? No, but I learned so much. I learned so much. We have to change our language to not the, I can't do that. I I just can't, I can't do that. I'm bad at this. I'm I'm not good at that. Compared to, you know what? I haven't mastered that yet. I haven't mastered this yet. I'm still building the skills in these areas. You see, your language and how you speak to yourself is so critical, because this helps you to begin to reframe, to begin looking at it from a different perspective, to say, you know what? No, this is not the end. I'm going to reframe it. I'm not going to stay stuck here, because this is the language that we use. It begins to, in the Bible, said, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, or out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? What's in your heart comes out. And when you start to speak it, you now begin to believe it, and you now begin to behave in it, right? It is so critical that we change our language. that we change our look and we practice awareness, right? And we talking about something we set back. Hey, it was a setback that I learned. Hey, this is something that I learned, right? You're going through something. I'm so excited. I get to learn something. Oh, we didn't hit the numbers, but hey, this is what we learned. You know what? I didn't get the job, but you know what? Here's something that I learned that I can do better in the interview process. Changing our language. Okay. The next thing we can do is extract the lesson. Okay. When we are experiencing setbacks, obstacles, failures, instead of focusing on the loss, what we lost, what we gave up, what was the damages, what was the lesson? Extract the lesson. Meaning this is this is the power of reflection. This is the power of reflection, right? We take a moment and even take a moment now, even after this episode. Some of your past failures or what you deem to be past failures. Think about like what what didn't go so well? What worked? You taking a moment to understand, you know what didn't work? What worked? What would I do differently? Now that I know, okay, here's what worked, here's what didn't work, here's what I would do differently. Here's what I would do different. Knowing what I know now, extract the lessons. That's what help you to reframe. That's going to help you to begin to shift the mindset that will help you to perceive it differently, to respond to setback differently, and to see it as a learning opportunity. Extract the lesson. Take a moment to reflect. I think that's, if you ask me, is my theory. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why it's hard for us to overcome, especially past failures. Failures that have limit us, that has paralyzed us to not move forward or to not try in certain areas of our life, to not go after that particular job, to not go ask to seek mentorship from this mentor, right? To not, go out and try to lock this business deal because of past failures. And it's because we haven't taken a moment to process it. Haven't taken a moment to say, you know what worked? What is, yeah, what didn't work? Okay. Knowing what I know now, what would I do differently? What would I do differently? Okay. What would I do differently? Extract the lesson, process, give yourself a moment to reflect. Okay. So the third habit that we want to do to help us to understand failure isn't the end, reframe it or stay stuck. Okay. It's going to help us to reframe it. And I kind of alluded to this earlier, we have to define what success is. We have to define what success is. I was my son was playing basketball this year, and I can tell, after the game, I will give him, like certain things, like, hey, here's what you can work on. Here's what, certain critiques, right? And I saw that me somewhat being so hard on him with giving him, hey, you do this. He was feeling defeated. He was feeling, having moments where, I'm just not good at basketball. Right. And when I became aware of it, the next game, I was like, hey, dude, like, what does success looks like for you in this game? What are your goals? Well, I want to score a point. Okay. I want to play good defense. I want to get a steal, maybe even get a block. Okay. That's what success is to you in this game. So when it comes to me to say, hey, did you do this or do that? Now Now I know how you're defining success, but more importantly, you know how you're defining success. So when it comes to your parents, your father, your boss, all these other stuff of someone saying or implying that you wasn't successful, that this was a failure, you're like, no, I- I'm not defining my success based on what based on your opinion. I'm defining success based on what I feel, my own terms, how I'm defining it. And through that and helping him, he's like, you know what, in the next game, even I made sure, like, hey, that was good. You did everything you said that you wanted to do. You got to steal, you got to block, you got to point. You played great defense, you gave great effort. Hey, that was a good game. And seeing him change his attitude in those moments, it's like, okay. And it taught me to, like, instead of telling him what I think success is, hey, how would you define success? So define what success looks like for you in this situation, in whatever your endeavors are. What does success looks like for you today? You can do this daily. Hey, what are my goals for today? What does success look like for me today? Okay, having a good attitude, making sure I'm eating, I'm counting my calories as I'm doing, right? What does success looks like for you? Okay, this helps us not to look at success again. This is the reframe. We're not looking at success based on the lens of society or this world. How you're defining it. How you're defining it. Okay. The last thing that we want to do to help us build build the habit of reframing, because we know that failure isn't the end. We're going to reframe it. We're not going to stay stuck. Is that we have to surround ourselves with growth minded people. And I'm saying it, growth minded people. We have to surround ourselves with people that also have the ability to reframe failures. And this especially as young people, my daughter, right? She's in high school, freshman high school. This is so important, because I'm telling her, hey, watch your company. Watch your company, okay? I want you to observe how they handle different things. When they get a bad grade, do they be like, are they like, oh well, or do they like, oh, let me see it. I need to talk to the teacher. I need to see if I can correct this. I need to see if I can go and get some extra work in. I got to see, I want to make sure I place high in this track me. I need to get some work in. I gotta go. I gotta go work out. Surround yourself with people, with growth minded people. Surround yourself with growth minded people. You know that of itself. Again, you have heard association brings on a simulation. Birds with feather flock together. That is so critical. And could it be that one of the reasons why we have had difficulties overcoming failure is because of the people that we are surrounded by? Because if you surrounded by fixed mindset individuals, guess what? You're gonna pick up on those same habits, those same behaviors. You're gonna pick up on, I ain't doing that. Nah, I ain't doing that. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I ain't doing that. Nah, I can't do that. I can't, man. I can't. Hey, you see how so and so did that? How they went up and presented to 200 people? I can't do that. Oh yeah, you right. I know, right? I ain't about to do that. You see it not only in the corporate, you see it in class, right? Oh no, I ain't about to raise my hand. And if I get the wrong answer, man, I ain't about to laugh at me. Yeah, I ain't about to do that either. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Observe your company. How do they handle setback? How do they handle challenges in their business? Well, my good buddies, he was in a business endeavor, wasn't doing so well. But you know what? Hey, here's what I gotta do to overcome this. And seeing him gather himself, not get so down about what he's now realizing the business to be, and certain things he may have overlooked before he got into the endeavor. Like, hey, this is what I gotta do now. I gotta pivot. I can't stay here. Here's what we gotta do. We gotta go ahead and count my losses and move on. And move on. And move on. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. So what are the habits that we need to build? As I said before, we got to change our language. We got to change our language. We got to extract the lessons. What worked, what didn't work, what would I do differently? We got to define what success looks like for us. And lastly, we got to surround ourselves with growth-minded people. We got to surround ourselves with growth-minded people so we begin to model the behavior of others. Because, hey, we know leadership, it's not a title, it's a choice. It's a choice that we make to overcome failure, to reframe failure. Because failure isn't the end. Reframe it or stay stuck. Hey, till next time, family. Love God, love yourself, love your neighbor. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. Be blessed.